Passing on the inspiration, Corrie and forgiveness. He who cannot forgive others breaks the bridge over which he must pass, for every man has the need to be forgiven. It's often more difficult to forgive than to ask for forgiveness, but it's vital to forgive. If you do not, the other person remains in bondage. Corrie ten Boom. Sitting in the hut this week and listening to the planes flying overhead, my thoughts wandered back to my father, whose ability to fly came out of the Second World War. Later in life, this was a joy to us all, and for him in his work. And yet its roots began in a dark time. Today on the radio, I heard a medical professional refer to this time of the virus as similar to 1945, the year my parents met and married, all because of the war. The medic claim we must not give up in despair now, as the end is in sight. I find I sigh as I write this, letting some of the tension of the moment go, and focus my thoughts once more on love and light. From all I know to be true, this really is the only place to focus your thoughts. We don't have all the answers, but we have all the keys to our own prison doors. And the master key is, of course, love. Not soppy, but strong, firm, unrelenting in its truth. And I find myself thinking of a book I read when my mother had first died. It was the beginning of my dark years. My family disbanded from the shape my mother had created in her lifetime, and I found myself separated. And an old lady called Corrie ten Boom, who had been in the concentration camps in the Second World War, spoke to me from the pages of a book called, coincidentally, 365 Reflections. That she could totally forgive those who'd murdered her own family seemed so extraordinary and a perfect example of finding love from hate. You can probably think of others who've achieved this exquisite act of love. Forgiveness is a wall that I have come to realize cannot be passed through until the last brick has been removed. To return to love, you must work brick by brick. There are no secret gates. You can jump right over, but once on the other side, you find you're back on the same side again. It will not be deluded. Nothing but total forgiveness will substitute. You can do all the good deeds. You can care and love and forgive every other human and beast walking the planet. But until you forgive the ones you keep safely locked away, lest they uncoil and strike, you remain in your own prison. The courage to let them go will only come from true love. The fairy stories have the grain of reality embedded. All this I've read and know to be true. Caroline Myss has a wonderful way of defining this. She says, "You say you're trying to forgive. Try avoids truth. Trying to forgive, no. Either forgive or don't. If you don't, you're vengeful and want to visualize punishing them. Try means, when I've given up that, if I want to, then I might forgive them. Maybe." This is the honesty of truth. Now this is a blog of joy, a pause to lighten your heart. So let's not forget that beginning a journey of forgiveness back to love is a very joyful thing indeed. And I would like to finish with a lovely story from Corrie ten Boom, with thanks. "I once saw a church," she says, "that was really no more than a ceiling. Here it was canvas, there it was metal. The people told me that once they had a beautiful brick church, But they were in a country where Christianity was not allowed, and someone burnt down the church. I told them that I was so sorry they'd lost their building, but they smiled. God does not make mistakes. Some time ago, they said, there was an earthquake on a Sunday morning. 1,000 people were under this ceiling. Had we been in a brick building, many would have been injured. But this ceiling just quaked along with the earthquake, and no one was hurt. Blessings.